So I just used my previous water textures. Such a waste of time. Hey guys, all of you that love indie games, all of you that click randomly, welcome all of you. My name is Timothy and I'm an indie game maker. Currently I'm working on my Primal Fray project. Some of you may know about this, some of you may not. Here, right now, you can see on screen how should it look, or how it looks right now. I've been working on it for a few months, and it's basically a turn-based strategy game. I drew inspirations from many places, but that's not really a video to talk about that. Today, I thought about a different format. I thought I will go without script and see how it goes. I know this video is longer than those I usually make, so I hope it's okay. I thought about everything I do, and I sit and work every day on Primal Fray, and thought that I will share some insight of how do I work and what my ideas are, what my thoughts are on the project, and how I go about it every day. So I recorded footage from my one day of work, and you can currently see on screen I am drawing a lot. There comes a point in each artist's life when you just realize the things you've done in the past aren't satisfactory at all, and you know you have to change those, not to see those same ugly things every day. So that's what happened to me recently, and I thought my game is starting to work pretty well. The combat is getting started. Yeah, it's getting along, and I thought it has to look nicer, you know, because I just love pretty things, and I thought I have to improve myself. So this is the day I improved my graphics in Primal Fray. I hope you'll enjoy it. What I'm doing right now, you can see I'm basically painting what's called a fake screenshot. So I'm not doing any tiles, any game assets, I'm just purely painting to show how the game may look like, to show the mood, the colors, the shapes. What I most dislike about my previously painted tiles is that they are so simple and without much detail, and also very flat. Here it doesn't look so bad. On the left you can see my previous approach. But if the map gets really big, like 20 times 20 tiles, it really is flat and ugly. So I thought I have to add some height. So you can see I'm working here with waterfalls. I'm working with like those edges, elongated, some veins like hanging out, and I'm just experimenting with ideas, with things I've seen somewhere, like in Avatar, the movie, those hallelujah flying mountains, because I think it looks really nice. It just brings the scene to life, you know, it just looks like something that is really hanging in the space and not just some flat map. So I'm working on that. I'm adding some more details, some rocks, some bushes. I just want to improve on my previous style, which is very flat colors, like sharp edges, and here I'm trying to get more naturalistic look. You can see right now I'm also changing the colors a little bit, because I thought there was too little variation, and I want to go from the darkest to the lightest tones all through my piece, just to give it more contrast and give it more pop. So I'm working, always keeping my comparison on the left. So I was comparing to my previous assets first, then I'm like comparing the colors, old colors on the left, new colors on the right. I'm doing all sorts of comparisons all the time, because often you don't really know if the changes you are making are they good, are they not good, and you have to go by instinct. If you can just compare them to what you have, it's much easier. So yeah, basically you can see it's not cut at all, it's just sped up 1000% or something. So you can basically see how do I work with the fake screenshot and what my priorities are. I basically scoured the piece in search of things I can improve, and I improve there, then something else catches my attention and I add more detail, and this is just a naturalistic process, you know, from the big picture to adding more and more details. It's basically a direction I try to go. Of course, right now I'm thinking about all sorts of stuff. So should I animate the waterfall? Of course I will do it because yeah, it just has to be done, you know. But what I'm going to do with it? At this point, I think the fake screenshot is somewhat finished. So now I have to change this like vague idea to tiles. Tiles I can then spawn on board and make like a game out of those. So I have to somehow capture this chaos and this naturalistic look in the hexagonal, very repetitive tiles, you know? And that's quite a challenge. I start with my basic grass tile and I just go with it, trying to add some random shapes and features. I ditch the like flat edge look and instead do some sort of, you know, grass growing mechanic here. I just work with it. Right now you can see I call it a skeleton. So I basically map out the tile's shape, and through that I can just easily place my new tiles on the skeleton and connect them in all sorts of ways to ensure that they are looking good when like put one to each other and not in the vague space. Because in game they will always like lay one near the other, so they have to look good in these conditions. So yeah, you can see it's just quite a slow process, but when you get it going, it's a joy, you know. I love doing what I do. I love doing games, and I'm making them every day. So the part that is lacking the most, in my case, it's video making. So you can help me improve that, you know. I'm way better programmer and an artist than I am a video maker. So, but I hope it will change soon. But coming back to the topic, another thing I changed, I thought my maps are too plain because each grass tile was always the same. So here I add 4 variations of grass tiles, and I will also add 4 variations of those edge like hanging pieces later, just to be able to randomize it a bit. Like it's all grass tiles, but they look a little different. This one, like 3 are similar, more grass, and one has like some more rocks. I added right now, but it's also, I try to keep this, you know, hexagonal shape, like flat, but still add something new. I do it only on one, just to, you know, keep the grassy, like main vibe of the biome, like coherent. Later, because like if I have the base tiles, I can add some add-ons later. Previously I had mushrooms, now I added rocks too, so they are blocking your way, your primals can get through, they have to like jump over, teleport over, walk around, do something like this, or maybe destroy them. These are elements that are more gameplay focused too, and not just aesthetic. But the more of them, you know, the more biome is richer and just looks better. So I'm adding those. Here you can see I struggle throughout to just tie everything together. I don't know how many levels of highlight should I put on the stones. Right now I have those brightest parts are quite flat, and these are really dark grays, so they don't have this pop, because I was afraid they would like fight for attention with my primals, and they have to like, you know, be elevated by the scene and not just get lost in it. So I struggle a lot with finding those lightest and darkest tones I can use to the scene be pretty and in the same time like useful in the game environment, like clear looking. So there is a lot of back and forth with these. I also have problems with the bush. Right now you can see I totally left it alone because I didn't know what to do with it. I had my previous bush, you can see it on top, and basically here for the life of me I couldn't make it like new looking. Yeah, maybe I will explain this new looking a little bit, because you can see that what I'm going for here is this more like painterly aesthetic. So everything is a little bit more chaotic. I convey shapes through colors and do not use outline like at all. And this is the main difference from the previous attempt. as I was using a lot of outline and the game looked like childish and cute and, you know, very simple. Without outline, you have to like bring those shapes out with shading, so like you're doing painting, and in my opinion it gives like a much more professional look to the game. I've seen it in Songs of Conquest, for example. Amazing art, you can go check it out. So I try to maybe not replicate that, but use the same like painterly approach. You can see, for example, on the mushrooms, like previously there was like one shade of yellow and one shade of yellow highlight on the mushroom, and this was really like plain, and here a lot of is going on. You can see bigger contrasts and bigger like small lighting and shadow elements, just to add those additional bit of flavors, you know, to the texture. Plus no outline, so the sides can be like bright yellow and not always dark like in comic books or something like this. And I think you can already see like the scene is coming together so much. On the right, the fake screenshot is, of course, you know, it's unfinished, it's a fake screenshot, so it's very chaotic, but on the tiles you can already see that the level of detail is getting like way higher than it happened in the previous game. And yeah, I can promise to you that when it is done, it will look amazing in game. You will see at the end of the video. Yeah, there is probably like this time piece, you can just skip whatever and see the final results if you want. But finally I started to work on the bush. I've told myself, no Timothy, you got to do it. It's not easy, but you just have to go with it. And I decided to like not use the previous bush skeleton, let's say, like this, not use the previous shapes and just redraw it from the beginning, just to get this fresh perspective on it. And already you can see it's coming quite nicely. Basically each leaf, previously it was just a plain color. Depending on the place on the bush, it had different colors, so here was dark and here was light, and had an outline. Right now there is an outline of sorts, but only to indicate the shadow under the leaf, and also the leaves themselves have like shading tones and like this very bright edges. And it, you know, you see this bush and you're like, all right, it's so nice, but it's again this balance between popping out and clarity of scene. The bush is more on the popping out side and less clear, so I have to like adjust other things. So like you can see the rocks are somewhere down the line. I've also like increased the level of detail. The lightest tones became even lighter, and the scene becomes really contrast and highlight heavy. So down the line, when I will be making primals to look good on the scene, I will have to ensure that they are like, you know, just another level of pop ahead of the tiles. It will be a fun challenge too, but you know, it's another day. It all takes quite a lot of time, so what can I say? Game development is hard. Oh yeah, now I add my one of the two favorite parts. So the other is the waterfall, and here is the like hanging vines. What I love about this is it brings the scene, like it adds the third dimension, you know, because when you see the island hanging, it's not like, you know, like a scrambled egg. Instead it has all of those interesting shapes coming down from it. And to ensure that those shapes are interesting, I do like 4 different grades, so like the longest and the shortest one, and 2 in between, so that they have different lengths, and I can randomize them through script, and just sometimes the long spawns, sometimes the short spawns, and the edge gets a jumbled, you know, messy look. So I'm working on those. I basically try to go for this, maybe they are made of rock, but the foliage has been growing on them for so long, everything is like covered in moss or in veins or in like grass or some leaves maybe, and the rocks just stick out from the bottom, you know, Yeah, as you can see, I'm doing here. That's because I aim for 5 biomes in the game, like at first, because I plan to go with like 5 elements, like in Magic the Gathering, you know, the card game. So not the same elements, but a similar concept. So there will be different mana colors, and there will be different primals. So for example, if you are following me for some time, you know I have this Ice Golem primal. So he's like the water or ice element primal. And there will be down the line a water or like an ice biome, ice probably. Right now I am doing a grass focused biome or a jungle biome, so I really focus on those heavy greens and to show a lot of plants and foliage, and generally to make it like this lively jungle, you know, look. I just wanted to be unique and really lean on that side, so all the rocks I add, I am cautious with. I just want them to be like the second player, like the additional, you know, additional element to the scene and not the main like feature. You can also see what I've been also learning. I'm not that great. I still learn, and you can see right now I'm so struggling with those rocks, and I'm like, man, these aren't looking good. Like they don't. And on the project on the right, on the fake screenshot, they looked so good, and I was like, okay, I should just copy them and paint details on them and not repaint them, you know, again. So like use my fake screenshot more and use those elements I've already constructed and I am pleased with, instead of trying to replicate those over and over. And I'm like, yeah, I'm so stupid. So I just, you know, you've seen that. Yeah, I'm just grabbing parts of the screenshot and putting them on the left and just drawing on top of them. So how you're supposed to do it, if any one of you people are making a tile set or anything using a similar method, don't repeat yourself, just, you know, use the things you've already done to draw on top of them. This approach also has some other interesting elements. So if you've ever drawn like pixel art, you know that it's sometimes hard and difficult to like establish shapes, because you are working with an outline. So you start by drawing an outline and fixing the outline, then filling it with colors. And often it is way more difficult to do than what I'm doing here. Using the painterly like idea, you just like bump your brush to a giant size, which is like not intuitive for people doing pixel art for the first or second time, because like it should be pixel perfect. I should like use my smallest brush, but no, you really shouldn't. And just use a bigger brush and you just paint it all over, establish the bigger shapes first, then lower the size of your brush and go through the shapes again and again and again, and then you like go more and more into detail until you get to the like single pixel level detail, and then your like artwork is finished. And it's, for me, it worked wonders here on this work, because that's like exactly what I did. It's even easier, I think, in pixel art than in like raster normal like painting, because here you can get to the like the floor level, to the single pixel level details, and you can't go any further. So it naturally like lays out the plan for you. You know, you can't overdo it. And then like normally in digital painting, it is so easy to go deeper into detail, which is not necessary at all because you don't know this boundary. Here it comes like naturally. So love this approach, guys. I will use it so much more and recommend it to everyone. Coming back to what I'm doing right now, I'm doing some water. What I haven't known at the time is the fact that I will just use my previous water and just change the colors on it, because it is good enough. And instead I spent like so much time trying to get a new water texture, and it totally didn't work out. I think it's the only part I cut out. Yeah, in a sec you'll see that it's just, I got so frustrated with it, I stopped recording and thought like I will figure it out on my own, but I didn't. It got so complicated and it wasn't looking like any good. Yeah, that's what I come up with. Look at those, like, no. So I just use my previous water textures. Such a waste of time. And just change the colors, you know, work on the edges a bit. So I will add some vines sticking from the grass, just to, you know, add to this grass overtaking the whole scene look, even the water. I'm doing it right now, and it's fine, you know. This water is all right, but you never know those things. You never know if your idea will or will not work, and it takes a lot of your time. For example, I have my attack indicators. If you watch my other videos, you know. So if you attack someone, there is like a symbol that shows up. If you click on it, like, you know, you attack your enemy. And like, I've changed those like 5 times already, and it's like the 2nd month of development. You know, because other ideas change so fast. If I like change the biome here, then I have to change all the UI too to adjust to it, and change the primals and change how the shadows work, etc. So you never know. And you waste a lot of time on remaking stuff you've already made. That's so funny. But what will change in the water, however, and change for good, I hope, is the waterfalls. Like the waterfalls coming down from the floating islands to the edge of the map, and just with this, you know, small, slow, soothing animation, it will work wonders. I know it. So now I'm painting those. Like, again, fake screenshot is nice, but you have to use it somehow to get to the waterfall piece, and I also have to ensure that it like loops around, so that it's tileable, I should say, so the bottom of it like connects to the top of it, and it all looks natural. So you can see I try to do it, then come back, then another approach. It's just a back and forth, you know. You have to feel those shapes out, and after a while you get to know and understand what you need to do, what you need to draw, but it takes some repetition, you know. So right now I think it is the final version, because it already looks nice, you can see that. And in a sec I will show you how it looks in game when it's all flowing and stuff. So I think, yeah, I'm so pleased with this waterfall. Oh yeah, you can see right now I am like tiling it. There are like tools for tiling tiles, for tiling pictures, but they work usually with like flat edge, like flat top, flat bottom. And here I have this like triangle dent. Or maybe I could work this out with this tool too, but you know, if you just have to adjust one like edge case, it's so little work. I really didn't need to use any tools. So yeah, you can see right now I am connecting those to my water tiles, but you will never see them in that way because they still look weird when you like treat them as the edge elements. So they are always in my map generation, and I ensure that they are always like in the middle of a scene somewhere. Oh yeah, so that's it. My time lapse finished. So that means I'm rambling here for 25 minutes or more. Let's just look at everything I've done in game. You can see the primals are also redone. It happened a different day in my development process, of course, and I haven't recorded that really. But it was just, you know, adjust the look to the new ground look, make them more painterly, and just change some colors on the existing primal and repeat. And after 6 or 7 repetitions, he looks good, right? Good enough. So you can see that my game is looking fantastically right now. Like, compare it to the one a week ago. No way, like, right? No shot. So I'm so glad I did it. It's so much better right now. On my programmistic side, I still am working on combat. In next week's video, you will see that it's getting done pretty soon, and the abilities are getting done, and soon I will just be producing more primals. From the interesting stuff, I plan to release an early prototype of you just maybe fighting yourself or your friend on hot seat, or maybe fighting some AI if I manage to write those. because it seems like so much work. But it will happen maybe in 2 months' time or something like this. So if you would like to see that, or if you would like to vote on different options, if I release it sooner without AI or later with AI, just hop on my Discord. There is much more updates there, and some cool people just to meet, people doing other stuff too, doing their own games, discussing constantly. So if you're much into indie development, just really, you're welcome. It's in the description. But alright, it probably took like 30 or so minutes already, and my usual videos take like 7. So please let me know if it was terrible. Just write me in the comments, Timothy, do this format no more, like, we beg you, okay? And no problem, I won't. But if in any case you liked it, just, you know, hit the like bell, subscribe and everything, you know the drill. Yeah, and that's been all from me today. See you next week. Bye.